Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Weriawan, and today we are going to talk about my new old camera. This is the Panasonic Lumix GX85. Let's go! Before we continue with today's video, if you enjoy my videos and you want to support my channel, please feel free to subscribe to my channel down below. You can also give a like to my videos and share my videos to your friends and family. If you really enjoy my channel and want to support me more, you can always use the super thanks button down below, and it will make some small donation to my channel to help me fund this channel and keep it going in the future. Anyway, let's continue with today's video. Today I'm going to talk about this new old camera. This is the Panasonic Lumix GX85 and it was released 6 years ago around 2016. I bought this camera used from an online shop here in Indonesia, and this camera comes with the kit lens 12 to 32mm from Panasonic. Now you might be asking, hey Gary, that's a 6 years old camera, that's quite old. Why don't you buy a new camera like the new Panasonic GH6 or the GH5 Mark II or the new OM camera such as the OM1 or OM5? Well, the answer is simple. It's because the GX85 has some special features that really speaks to me in my opinion, and those features really help me to enjoy photography as a hobby even more, and also because it is cheap. Anyway, the Panasonic GX85 was released in 2016 together with the Panasonic G85 that's currently recording this video right now. And as you can see, the GX85 is a small rangefinder style camera, and it is modeled after the good old Panasonic GX7, which I also owned a few years ago. The GX85 was meant to replace the Panasonic GX8, which I also have right here, and this is a really great camera. However, I don't think that the GX85 is an upgrade when compared to the GX8 because there's lots of features on the GX8 that the GX85 cannot replace. However, there is one special feature on the GX85 that is much better implemented when compared to the GX8, and that is the in-body image stabilization. On the GX85, it's just significantly better when compared to the GX8, and that is the main reason why I got the GX85. This will be complementing my G85 for recording video as well as for still photography, and I will also use the GX85 more for everyday kind of photography and also for travel photography as well. Speaking of my secondary camera body, I always prefer my secondary body to be a rangefinder style camera as opposed to another DSLR style camera like my G85, simply because the rangefinder style camera is more compact, it's nicer to use, it feels really good on my hands, and also it's easier for me to travel around with. It's not too bulky, so together with my primary camera it doesn't take up too much space, and for that the GX85 is the perfect secondary camera body for me. So now I already got the GX85 for more than 1 week, and I've been bringing this camera everywhere I go with me. I shoot lots of pictures, I shoot lots of videos, and now I want to share my experience with you and also my initial impressions of the GX85. Now I want to share a little bit about my setup with the GX85, and currently my favorite lens to use with my Panasonic GX85 is this guy right here, the small little pancake lens Panasonic 20mm f1.7. I really think the 20mm prime lens is the perfect fit for the GX85 simply because it is small, it is slim, and you know, it makes the whole setup looks really nice, really neat, really small, and very compact, very easy to travel around with, and I always use this setup everywhere I go with me. Other favorite lenses to use with the GX85 are the Olympus 9 to 18mm ultra wide angle lens. Unfortunately, my Olympus lens, this guy right here, is broken right now. From between 14 to 18mm it doesn't want to focus, so I'm replacing the 9 to 18mm with my Laowa 7.5mm f2, and this guy also works perfectly with the GX85. Other favorite lens, the Olympus 45mm f1.8 when I want something a little bit tighter, a little bit more telephoto, for portraits, for detail shot, for close-up. This also works really well with the GX85. The kit lens that come with the GX85, the 12 to 32mm Panasonic lens, is also a great match for the GX85. It is also small. It is also considered pancake lens, although you have to open it up to use it. But it still works really well with the GX85. And I also think the telephoto version of that kit lens, the 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6, will also work well with the GX85. I imagine these two lenses will become a really nice combo for travel photography and video. However, my current favorite setup are these three lenses: the Panasonic 20mm, the Olympus 45mm, and the Laowa 7.5mm. With these three lenses and the GX85, I'm able to take all sorts of different kinds of photography, from street photography, food photography, everyday kind of photography, scenery, wide-angle photography, portrait photography, close-up, and also for taking B-rolls, video clips. With the GX85, I can do it all with just this small, compact kit setup. All three lenses with the GX85 and some other accessories can fit easily into my small sling messenger bag. This is the Alpaca Go Sling Mini, and this is a lightweight kind of setup and also small, and I can just bring it everywhere with me, and I am always ready with three lenses to cover all sorts of different focal lengths, and this is just a perfect setup for me. And with this setup, I also have my DJI Pocket 2 little vlogging camera to cover the GX85. The GX85 records really great video with its stabilized sensor, and with all of my unstabilized lenses, they all become stabilized as well, and really smooth footage. However, without microphone input on the GX85, I cannot really record any good audio with my video. So for that, I use my DJI Pocket 2 with its wireless microphone as a compact vlogging setup when I need audio, when I want to talk to the camera like what I'm doing right now. So now that you already know my general setup with the GX85, now I want to share how I use the camera for my photography and video. Right now, I'm really using the GX85 for my everyday photography camera, like my Canon G15. You can watch the Canon G15 video up here, but yeah, this is a great everyday kind of camera that I can always bring with me everywhere I go. When I go with my wife, when I'm having dinner, when I go outside, when I'm exploring a new place in my town or something like that. I'm also using the GX85 for a little bit of video as well. I like to use the GX85 for recording B-rolls of little clips of my everyday life. When there's something interesting going on that I want to record in video, then I will use the GX85. But in the future, I will also plan to use the GX85 as my travel camera. When I don't really need to record great audio with my camera, then I will use the GX85. Or as a secondary body with my Panasonic G85 being my primary camera body. So now I want to compare my GX85 with my other cameras that I currently have. First, let's compare the GX85 with the camera that's currently recording the video right now, my Panasonic G85. Well, my Panasonic G85 is my primary workhorse camera. When I'm traveling, it will be my primary body, and when I'm doing YouTube video or series project, it will be the G85 over the GX85. However, the GX85 is also as capable as the G85 except for the audio. The GX85 once again doesn't have microphone input while the G85 have. So it means that when I need to record video with great audio, I will always choose my G85. But my GX85 can be the secondary body of my G85 as I previously mentioned, simply because it is also capable in so many different things. Also, this is my less serious kind of camera. The GX85 is more of a fun camera, while the G85 is more of a serious camera. So that's how I differentiate between the GX85 and the G85. Next, let's compare the GX85 with my G8, my all-time favorite camera. Eventually, the GX85 will replace my GX8. However, there are some features on the GX8 that the GX85 doesn't have, and these features makes the GX8 still a relevant camera for me. For starter, this camera has a tilting and flipping screen. This is really great for low angle photography, for landscape photography when I'm doing vertical composition, also for video and also for taking selfie. This is just so nice to have, and the GX85 doesn't have that. Next, the GX8 also has better grip in my opinion. The forward position, shutter button and the aperture dial, it's just nicer on the GX8 compared to the GX85, but that's a personal preference. And then third feature that the GX8 have that the GX85 doesn't have is microphone input. It has right here on the GX8. Although this is a 2.5mm input, at least it's still a microphone input, and yeah, that makes me not want to replace the GX8, so I will still keep the GX8 together with the GX85. Next, I want to compare my GX85 with my compact camera, the Panasonic LX100. Eventually, my GX85 will replace my LX100 simply because it is almost the same size. However, the LX100 has two important features that the GX85 doesn't have. First important feature is lift shutter mechanism on this camera right here, meaning that I can do off-camera flash photography with high shutter speed, sync speed up to 1/1000 of a second with the LX100. The GX85 cannot do that. And as some of you might already know, I do a lot of strobies off-camera flash photography, so LX100 is still an important camera for me in terms of strobies photography. And next feature is the built-in lens of the LX100. It has this excellent 24-70 equivalent lens f1.7 to f2.8, and this lens is just excellent. It's built in and it makes the whole form factor of the LX100 very compact. With the GX85, I don't really have an equivalent lens except for the 12-35mm f2.8, but that lens is big compared to the LX100, and yeah, so I will still also keep my LX100 together with my GX85. So now I want to share about some things that I really enjoy and I really like from the GX85. First, obviously the form factor. Again, this is a rangefinder style camera, so it is small, it is compact, it is very easy to travel around and to pack it inside my bag. And yeah, that just makes it really easy for me to bring this camera anywhere with me, as I mentioned earlier. Next, the GX85 is very snappy. It doesn't take a lot of time to turn on the camera and be ready to shoot. Next, the in-body stabilizer. As I previously mentioned, it's just really great. I can now use unstabilized lenses for video and got really smooth video footage, and also the stabilizer works with still photography as well. Now I can use slower aperture lenses and I don't have to worry about lower light condition. I can just slow the shutter speed down and make sure that the image is still sharp because of the image stabilizer. Next, USB recharging with the GX85 is just remarkable. It means that I don't have to bring my external battery charger when I travel with the GX85, and that's really nice. One less thing to worry about when I travel. Next, I love that there are some function buttons on the GX85 to help me make this camera more customizable. It's not as many as the one on the GX8. The GX8 has so many function buttons. This one only has about 4 function buttons, but this is more than enough for me to customize the camera to my liking. Next, the image quality. The Panasonic GX85 features the same sensor as the one that I have in my Panasonic G85, the same 16 megapixel no AA filter sensor, and the image quality between these two cameras are pretty much the same, so they can complement each other. And I love the dynamic range that I can get from these cameras, and also the natural colors and the sharpness. So yeah, I enjoy the image quality coming out of the GX85. Next, autofocus. The GX85 single autofocus is really fast. It's almost instantaneous. It is as fast as the single autofocus of the GX8 and the G85. For still photography, it is more than enough for what I need. Next, hot shoe. the Panasonic GX85 still features a hot shoe, unlike the smaller rangefinder bodies like the Panasonic GF9 or GM1. So I can still use this camera for off-camera flash strobist photography. And although the flash sync speed is not really that high, it is still not really that bad. 1/160th of a second is not really that slow, and I can still make this camera work for strobist off-camera flash photography. Also, the GX85 have the built-in flash, so you can use it for quick fill-in flash, or you can fold it and bounce it to the ceiling to get softer lighting when using flash. I forgot to mention about video quality, but as expected, the video quality of the GX85 is also really good, very comparable with my G85. It can record 4K up to 25 frames per second and 1080p up to 50 frames per second. More than enough for what I need. I record in 1080p mostly, but to know that there's 4K in this camera, it's really reassuring, and the video image quality is really top notch, very sharp, natural colors, and I just really like it. Battery life with the GX85 is also not that bad. If I'm doing casual photography and video, I can just have battery life for the whole day without needing to change battery or to charge it. And if I'm running low on battery, once again, it is USB rechargeable, so I can just use my power bank and charge my GX85. So yeah, the GX85 is almost the perfect camera for me. It has so many features that I really enjoy and I really like. However, there are also some things that I don't really like from the GX85, and I want to share it to you right now. First, the GX85 features this excellent tilting screen on the back right here. It is excellent in my opinion. However, it is not flipping. You can only tilt it, but you cannot flip it to the front like the screen on the GX8. And I much prefer flipping screen over just a tilting screen because it is much more useful for me for vertical composition and also for selfie and video. And yeah, that might be personal preference, but that's what I don't like from the GX85. Next thing that I don't like from the GX85 is the grip. It is sufficient in my opinion. It is comfortable and I can hold the camera properly and securely, but it's not as beefy as the grip on my GX8. Look at this grip right here, and the front position shutter. It's just much more comfortable for long period of shooting. Next, there's no mic input with the GX85. And the lack of mic input really cripples the GX85 video capabilities. If the GX85 has a mic input, then it will be really a perfect vlogging camera for me because it is small and it is easy to carry around. But now it is just a B-roll video camera. Next thing that I don't like from my GX85 is the tripod hole placement. It is too close to the lens attachment, so when you're using larger lenses, you cannot really use it with tripod. But luckily, I can use a smaller tripod plate, so I can use larger lens without any problem when using tripod. Next thing that I don't like from the GX85 is the weight. The GX85 is a small camera. It is even smaller than my Panasonic GX8. However, the weight is almost the same with the weight of the GX8, so it's a small but a heavy camera. Last thing that I don't like from the GX85 is continuous autofocus, especially with video. It is not reliable, I have to be honest with you. But it's not a big problem for me because I usually use single autofocus anyway. So now before I end the video, there are some key important points that I want to share with you about the Panasonic GX85. So in short, the Panasonic GX85 is an almost perfect camera. It is not perfect, there are some very important flaws with the GX85, but nevertheless, it still inspires me to go out and shoot and enjoy my photography hobby even more. I can always bring my GX85 everywhere and challenge myself to always look out for a composition that I can photograph or record a little bit of B-roll clips about my everyday life, and that really makes this camera a very enjoyable for photography and video. I am having a lot of fun with my GX85, and I think purchasing a GX85 in my case right here is really the right decision. Now I want to just emphasize that photography is not just about the result, it is also about the process and having fun while you are doing your photography hobby. It is really important, and I really think that the GX85 really excels in that regard. Again, this is a 6 years old camera. It's not the latest and greatest when it comes to micro four thirds camera, but I still have a lot of fun with the GX85, and I think that is all that matters. So my message to you is, don't get too hung up with the latest and the greatest. Enjoy what you already have, go out there and try to create some image or video and have fun while you are doing it. And that is all for today's video. I hope that this video has been useful for you. Please comment down below what is your current favorite camera. And also, if you have any question about this video, comment down below as well, and I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. Thank you and goodbye.